Oh! Hello. I've been. I've been waiting for you. I knew you'd be here. I knew I'd see you. I knew you would be here. Just a little bit shorter than you thought you'd be. But you were here. I knew you would step into the room. Your eyes so big and bulging. Oh, I've waited for this. I've waited for so long. No, I dreamed. I dreamed. Oh, I dreamed of you just coming into the room. But there's so much to see, so much to say. And yet none of it can be explored within the time that we share today. Truly. Truly incredible. There's nothing quite like this, and yet I imagine there's so much more than this. So much passion, so much raw fury and energy, just basking in the sun's glow, absorbing it, gaining more power. And yet, I say, here we go. Hello there, welcome. Gosh. Hey, welcome to the horror show. Oh, I'm a little tired. Welcome to the horror show. I'm here. Here I am. Excuse me. So we got a lot of exciting things to go over today. My eyes are burning. Jesus. Oh, God. Oh! You know, it's been a good 2 minutes now. It's been a quality time that I've been experiencing here. I rubbed onions in my eyes, and they're really, really messed up, man. Oh my gosh. Oh, Jesus. Why did I do that? Why? I thought it would be a smart idea, and it was so dumb. It was so dumb. It made nothing I'm doing. Is this... You're on the Matt Hawker Show. Welcome to the Dome of Matt. Today on the Matt Hawker Show, we will be diving into serious subjects with real beef, with real muscles. We're gonna get into the toughest stuff. We're gonna get into the toughest of the strongest of the. That's what we're gonna be getting into. So anyway, today on the Matt Hawker Show, I'm gonna be doing all sorts of quantity.
Start spreading the news, 'cause it's time for the Matt Hawker Show. For sugar and the faces of stars, and we're all gonna have a Matt Hawker time.
You know, I don't really think you guys want to hear that on the Matt Hawker show. I don't think that's a part of the experience that you want to partake in. And so I want to move all of that to the side for a second. I want to talk about really just observations. We get a lot of observations here on the Matt Hawker show. I get a few observations sent to me every morning, and I read through them, and I know a lot of people are wanting answers. They want to know. They want to know the truth, and the truth is out there. And I think really what's important here is that the reason stand-up comedians don't yawn while they're performing is because they know they're not funny. They just know it. They know it. And when you know something isn't funny, you don't yawn. You only yawn when something is entertaining. I'm not saying that I'm not funny, because I definitely can yawn on the show. And I don't normally do it, but I'm going to try to do it before the end of the episode so you know that I'm funny. I don't really think that made any sense. But, I know that there are poor immigrant children out there that do make sense. And I want you kids to know out there that I'm richer than you and I'm better than you in every conceivable way. And I hope that's okay. I'm not trying to be a jerk by letting you know this. I think it's important that you know this. I think you need to understand that you're poor and you will never get anywhere. And there's nothing anyone can do about that, no matter how hard we try. It's not so much that wealth is a man-made construct. It's really, when we look at the debate of nature versus nurture, I think the science is clear on this, that wealth is a product of nature. You are either born with rich genes or you're born with poor genes. And I wish more people would accept that. When we start looking into the biology of humans, I think people are sort of misdiagnosing the problem by looking at things like race, gender, location, things like that. We need to be looking at money genes. We need to be trying to dissect and diversify people based on how wealthy their genes actually are. And that's the only way to really get to the bottom of this. And I think we're just missing something here. And I'm not missing it. I think everyone else is. We need to go deeper into this. We need taxpayer money looking into wealth genes so we can figure out who's poor and who's not and separate them. And it wouldn't be separate but equal. It wouldn't be anything like that because they would have different amounts of wealth. But that's just their genetics. That's just their genetics. But if we figure out that and we can isolate the wealth gene, then we can reproduce it. We can inject it. We can create a vaccine and we can distribute it to kids all over the world. I'm really just doing a service to children everywhere and helping them discover what it means to be wealthy. That's what I'm doing today. That's my science that I'm going to be looking into. I'm going to do the science and we're going to see where it goes. Anyway, today we have on the show this. Let me just roll the interview. Roll the tape, please. Anyway, Jimmy, we are now recording, which means anything you said is permanent, and it will be recorded forever, and the testament of time that I have written and painstakingly endured through trials and tribulations of that which I cannot remember.
Etched on the golden disc. Oh, I'm great, sir. I'm fantastic.
Jimmy, Jimmy, listen. Let's cut to the chase here. I know why you're here. You know why you're here. Let's just stop beating around the bush, Jimmy. I need to know. Is the coloration and substance of our poop a product of nature or nurture? And I figured you would be the expert on this, so I just kind of wanted to get your insight.
Absolutely, and there are two schools of thought, as you said, the nature and nurture thoughts. So on the one hand, there's the biological instincts, right? We eat things, not poop, but they become poop on a later thing. But is it bless you?
Oh, sorry, sorry if that was in there, Jimmy. What are you about? What's your deal?
I'm here to do a little bit of everything and a little bit of nothing. I'm kind of a self-made existential crisis, if I'm being completely honest with you.
You're a crisis, like whose crisis are you? Are you someone else's existential crisis? What's that like?
It's a burden and a gift, really. I can be here, I can be there, I can be nowhere. I'm a Dr. Seuss poem, honestly.
Ugh, that's unfortunate. I feel bad for you, man. Dr. Seuss has been dead for a long time, and really, no one reads his work anymore.
And
That's kind of lame.
sometimes
Just
never-ending couplets. It's kind of suckless, just having
suckless.
just having to rhyme in time all the
Is,
time.
is suckless like a vegetarian vampire? Is that what that means? Like, what
The
is,
vegan, they're gluten-free. It's a huge political issue actually in the vampire community right now. First, was the collar up versus the collar down people. You had the yuppie vampires, and then you had the capes versus the no capes, and that was that almost destroyed, that wrecked the community, Matt.
no, of course.
As you do.
Jimmy, I'm going to be honest with you. My father was a no cape vampire for several years, and a lot of the community sort of shunned him. And
was that red billing? Was your dad red billing?
I
okay.
really,
you can't say, Matt. It's okay.
I don't want to put him under the cross here, so to speak. But I just there's a lot at stake, and really, I just think that every morning he woke up from his coffin, and it was at night, the morning of the night. He just
the morning of
was
the
a
night.
mess.
He was a mess. He was an afternoon vampire. That's mid shift.
He really was.
The mid shift vampires get the worst necks, Matt. And so
they really do. They really do. And I have to live with that for the rest of my life, knowing that about my father. And I don't know if you got daddy issues, but I got them, man. I got them.
I subscribe to them every monthly basis. What's up, my friend?
Jimmy, do you love your father?
I do.
Do you guys have a good relationship? Are you happy?
We're ecstatic.
Jimmy, right now, how much would I have to pay you to make out with your dad, and then your dad's dad, and then both at once? Go ahead.
Wow. So it goes in order of magnitude. So 100,000 vampire cape bucks, and then 1 million, and then 10 million in order of your 3 questions.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
You can exchange for Disney dollars and Bitcoin, so it's all on the foreign exchange market. So don't even worry about that.
Can I find this on your website at payjimmy.com? Is that a thing?
You got it. .edu. The .com was captured by the government. It was taken away by the government because somebody hacked in, and they were showing a bunch of sports clips that were like super illegal. Well, I mean, you're not supposed to, without explicit written consent, right? You're not supposed to just show sports games on your website. So
no, of course not.
But the perplexing thing, how did I get a .edu? I'm not an institution, or am I?
Well, I mean, it really depends on what school of thought you come from. Earlier on we were talking about the whole nature versus nurture thing of poop, and I mean, really that in itself is a fundamental, classification of education, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, just the mere concept of you analyzing that sort of philosophical viewpoint says to me that you're beyond just a normal person, Jimmy.
I appreciate that.
You are a school of thought, Jimmy, and a school of thought is entitled to a school of thought domain. A .edu doesn't have to be a physical institution. It could be one of the mind as well.
That's true. And I'm not even like a for-profit fake institution. So I feel morally okay with this decision.
I mean, do you want to be? I could call some people, Jimmy.
Let's do it. I didn't know you were that well connected. That's awesome. But I guess when your dad's red billing, you can do whatever you want.
Do you really want to do it, Jimmy? Because we can do it right now, right here.
All right.
Jimmy, take me. Jimmy, this is it. This is what my audience has wanted. They have wanted a Matt and Jimmy crossover. That's it. This is it. Jimmy, this is great. This is all I've ever asked for. Are you ready for this?
Done. I'm moving forward.
Jimmy, tonight we're gonna take my virginity tonight, Jimmy. We're gonna take it and we're gonna boil it alive, and then we're gonna turn it into a burrito. Are you ready for this?
I'm normally more gentle, but yeah, whatever you're asking for,
Jimmy,
whatever I'm selling, apparently you're buying. So let's do it.
I'm buying it, Jimmy. I'm buying. You lay it all out on the table. What do you got right now? What's in your pocket? Let's lay it out.
I got some Matchbox cars. I thought I had matches, but they're Matchbox cars from the old '90s Matchbox Hot Wheels. Man, we're rolling all over the place, dude. They're squeaking.
They just keep going. I mean, do they ever stop? Like, do they do a lot of night driving?
A ton of it. It's Tokyo Drift in my pockets, man.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
It's fast and furious. Sometimes we take it slow and furious, and sometimes
if those Matchbox cars go fast enough, the police won't pull them over. That's a law. Like if you see a Matchbox car going over 89, that's it. You can't follow it.
Clearly, they have somewhere to be. We can't interfere with that. they'll figure out they need to stop on their own.
Jimmy, I kind of want to take this into a serious place. A lot of people have been asking me this lately, and I'm just not really sure how I feel about it. Do you feel that Mein Kampf was actually postmodern poetry?
That is a wonderful school of thought, and it's real. A lot of people have been subscribing to that theory lately. I'm willing to hear both sides of the argument, but ultimately, yes, that Adolphus Hitlerium definitely was. He was rejected by art school, and he just wanted to be known. He wanted to be known as a visual artist, but when that fell through, he definitely had to go towards the written word, as you want your one to do. You find new opportunities elsewhere. So
no, absolutely.
Really, it translates to my life, my sweet soul. It's German words, they can be tiny and mean a lot, or they can be really long and mean one thing. So definitely it means my soul, my life.
I really think that's something that a lot of people missed out on in the World War II era. Hitler was just, he was a burdened artist, and, he was just suffering, and, no one ever really thought about that. And it's just kind of unfortunate, I guess. It's one of those missed opportunities in the World War II era. And and World War I, I feel like a lot of the soldier buddies were probably like, Adolf, what a nerd, and they just like kick sand in his eyes, and he would cry, and then it's like his mom would cradle him and say, "It's okay, Adolf. It's gonna be
like my efficiency, my accuracy is falling down, and I can't hit back against these rattatas in my life." And that's how it went down, man.
I like to think so, but I don't know. I'm not a school of thought like you are, so I can't really pronounce intricate webs of dialogue in such a studious way.
You're a different abstract noun, and I really appreciate that.
I appreciate your noun as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that even though most sentences require some sort of subject-verb agreement, I really think that we could be a 2-noun sentence. Like that's it. That's all we need. Just 2 nouns and a period, maybe an exclamation, but never a question. Never, not once.
Home driver. Home driver, home driver, home driver, driver, home driver, home driver, driver.
Look, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about anyone. This is a circumstance that we have to accept is taking place right now. I believe that every flower bed deserves at least 3 crystallized raptors. And I'm a big fan of this. I'm personally of the experience that dinosaurs from the past never really dealt with oil and fossilized. I believe they crystallized. And that's an important distinction, because if we take crystallized dinosaurs and we put them in our gardens, we can create a Gardenic utopia, which is a phrase that the Russians invented back when they lived in Rome. Now, none of this might make sense to you, and that's okay. I'm not really trying to help you comprehend this. I just need you to listen here. If we take cryptalized raptors and we create Gardenic utopias, we too can understand what it means to be a lizard of the past. And that's what I want. I've discussed lizards before, and I think they're pretty. I think they're nice looking. I would hold a lizard for a while. That's what I would do. I'm not saying that it's okay to do. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm just saying that's what I would do. I don't think anyone should judge me for my morals here. I think that's just what I'm going to do when I'll do it. It's what I'm about. I'm not trying to, start something here. I don't want to, get in a fight with someone. I just mean that, there's a lizard. I want to hug it. I want to hug the lizard. That's what I'm going to do. Now, some guy, he comes into the room. He says, hey, put my lizard down. I'll say, no, I'm not going to put my lizard down. He goes, what do you mean your lizard? That's my fucking lizard. What are you talking about? I say, this is my lizard. He's going, and I go, and then I pull out my gun. I'm going to shoot this guy. And then he pulls out his gun. He's got 5 guys with him. What are you going to do? And I go, hey, that's my lizard. And he's going to go, that's my lizard. And I want to go, pa, pa, pa. He's going to go, pa, pa, pa. And I'm going to go, pa, 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 I didn't have a a happy time when I was when I was in 7th grade. And it's not because I was unhappy, but it was because I was never taught what happiness was. You can't have something unless you know what it is. I spend a lot of years, crossing across endless deserts, and I think a lot about feral children. And I think that when we look at feral children, we can really understand what all of us really are and really what we're capable of. I mean, think of it this way. You're born in the wild. You've never met another human in your entire life. You'll have no comprehension of what it means to be a human in just a couple years. Your brain will dissolve all the parts that it would need to sort of have what you and I would consider to be humanity. And as a result, you become part of that wilderness that surrounds you. You adapt to that situation and those circumstances. And if anything, it is a proof of how adaptable the human is while still being restrained so easily. Something so infinitely powerful is still so infinitely limited. And it's a scary thought, really. And I guess, maybe the only way to remove that scary thought is to become a feral child and lose the parts of me that would have those sorts of thoughts in general. I mean, I think I could be a feral child. I've been practicing. I could audition for the role. I think I could get it. And I'm hoping Spielberg would accept me. He's done a lot of movies in the past, and I think I personally could fit the role of feral child. I think that I look the role of feral child. And, honestly, I'm of the opinion that if Spielberg sat down with me tonight, we could have a little one-on-one, and I could be his feral child, and I hope he adopts me. Maybe the other kids will be a little weirded out by it, but really, Stephen, if you're listening to this tonight, I want you to know that I will be the greatest, strangest, most feral, rabid child you've ever had. I will bite your children. I'll bite you. I will lick your face while you're sleeping. Stephen, I will watch E.T. and give it a good rating in a year that isn't, within the 90s or, doesn't pretend that it's better than it is. I'm just going to give it a good rating because I will legitimately like it because my tiny microscopic brain will enjoy it so much despite how bad of a movie it is. By the way, it's not bad, Stephen. It's great. It's a great movie. And I'm saying this as one feral child to another not feral child who is a director who's also written children's books or produced them. Stephen, I don't know what you've done. I admittedly I'm confused about it all, but I hope you'll sit with me sometime and we can sort this out. I've 43 years ago when God, oh my God, hold on, 43 years ago, there were 3 strange men that were also women that entered the landscaping job force. They were there. Sorry, this is just. Oh God. Okay, let me try that again. So 43 years ago, there were 3 men that were actually women that entered the log arenas. Oh no. Oh, the story's gone down the wrong path, but I'm going to roll with it. I'll fix this in editing. No one will even know this was here. Matthew, fix this in editing. Don't let this, fix this in post. Don't let anyone listen to this. They were in the log arena, and okay, this is terrible. This is not in my notes. Crap, the story's all off case. The log arena, and then they met Clifford the big red dog, which this isn't right. The 5 stars. Clifford meets the ladies of the log arena and fought them with their chainsaws, and they survived, and Clifford befriended them because he realized that they would help him find the AIDS cat who would create HIV, and in the future, the future of the HIV, and oh God, so Jesus, and it would just he would create he would create a Clifford Lady Bits Clifford. The ladies that were men, the men of the ladies, lady man, they were just Clifford was red and he had fur and furry lady bits, manly ladies, furry lady bits, ladies, furry Clifford. Anyway, thanks for listening to the show today. I'm Matt Hawker. You can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Matt Hawker Show, Facebook.com/The Matt Hawker Show. Find me on Podchaser. Give me a good rating. Okay, if you want to do that, that's fine. Also, new news. There's if you support me on Patreon, you'll be getting an exclusive wallpaper that only you will have access to. That's right. So you can donate $1 on patreon.com/The Matt Hawker Show, and that'll make me rich. And then I'll buy a minivan that I'll put on a motorcycle, and I'll ride the van on the motorcycle, and that'll be nice because that's what I'm going to do here. That's what I'm about. Anyway, thank you for tuning in today. Tune in next time for not one tune, but 2 tunes. That would be cartoons designed by me, Matt Hawker, on my new cartoon show, Tunes Cars. I'm back!